Welcome back, Jam Fam. We are doing a gigantic meal prep marathon afternoon. Yes, we are. We are going to tackle several of these butternut squash that have been judging us. Also, in several of my recent meal prep and freezer meal videos, I've mentioned about doing jar salads, and I have quite a bit of salad fixings that have been judging me. And these jars have been prepped and ready to go, so we're going to tackle jar salads today. And there's a whole bunch on the whiteboard, so let's see how much we get done. Here's how our last whiteboard, several projects have worked out, and we have accomplished all of this except the homemade ranch and the jar salads. We're going to start with that today. Alrighty, so this is what our new whiteboard list shows. We are going to get, we don't know how many jar salads made, including homemade ranch. Sugar-free, gluten-free breakfast burritos. These are also keto-friendly, low-carb, all of those good things. And we are doing a Trim Healthy Mama, sugar-free, gluten-free, would also qualify in the keto-ish, low-carb universe. This would be classified as an S meal. If you are following THM specifically, it's a take on breaded chicken tenderloins. I've got probably 9 pounds or so. Those are going to be delicious. We're going to do stuffed butternut squash. I can't wait to do that. And also sugar-free, gluten-free, healthy, you know, all the different labels, dinner rolls. I just added butternut squash soup. I don't know. It would like to become some soup. We'll see, because you know I'm dealing with one small oven, but I might be able to get my extra butternut squash going in a roaster. We'll see what we can come up with. So this is the produce I've been squirreling away. I feel like 2 weeks. I don't think it's been that long, but this is definitely what I've been planning to use. In these jar salads, we have some matchstick carrots, some tomatoes. Not everyone's a tomato fan, but some of my salad fans do like tomatoes. We have some iceberg lettuce that I got the other day on an order. I was like, oh, I'll need more lettuce for jar salads. The other cucumbers we prepped already come and gone. There's some more English cucumbers I got at Costco. These things aren't really here. These are items for our breakfast burritos. We got some more celery, and I have 3 big boxes of spring mix, but I think one is older. I can probably pick most of that. Most of that's good. Yeah, so we got quite a bit of lettuce judging us situations too. I might actually do some different salad and jar variations using the cheese, but it's not as much as I thought I had judging me, which will make for good salads, and also I don't feel as bad. I'm gonna have one of my teens wash and chop up these cucumbers, and the other one, this celery, but this is my snacking celery, so I'll take that out. Got a lot of good chopping action going on. I'm going to take this, and this is a cute little, like, let's go to the grocery store in my basement, little basket. We're gonna get probably some canned chicken to do in these salads, maybe some tuna too. So you'll see, or you'll hear, we got cricket action. So loud is the crickets. Also, this whole thing is a mess. I mean, I worked a little bit on it earlier this summer, but definitely I would love for us to spend a few days down here. I mean, it's not too bad, you know, but before my life imploded, like, I had labels and organization. And actually now, canned chicken's still up there. Tuna's here. A lot of this stuff is so far back. Like, I think down here I have 4 of these things of tuna. And I mean, I had hundreds of cans of tuna, so the tuna needs brought up, and I need to replace it. We need to refill it in the back, right? I do have some random lasagna noodles here, and I have my noodle label over here. So it's just going to take, again, probably 2 days of you and I coming down here and pulling some things back together. But not today, because today we are tackling so many meal prep projects that are not this room. But anyway, I get thinking of all the things that need it done, and then it gets overwhelming. So we're doing what we can do today, but I am going to add organizing the basement grocery store back on my upcoming list, and my present self thanking my past self for my bulk Azure orders. We have, look at this, organic onion powder I can refill. organic garlic powder, so I'm gonna do that too real quick. I'm gonna pull this together. Set my little timer, so hopefully sooner rather than later. Well, we're doing prep. We're prepping right now. We're preparing to work. Oh, these are the scissors I got at the thrift store, and they show. It shows. Pretty good. Okay. I also had my 14-year-old change the trash bags for me, and I told them, as we do, I said set a timer for an hour and then come back to the kitchen, check on your mom. It's afternoon here now, which is why I'm doing a mega meal prep. And there has been a lot of fun had at the house so far today. Legos are happening. Gonna get WD-40 on my next Walmart list. We're gonna do that. I got a couple squeaky doors, and my friends in South Africa and all around are like, Jamerrill, you need to, you know, get yourself some WD-40, girl. So we are gonna do that. There's an obstacle course built right out front. That has been fun. And also the Legos continue. See, this is how I've been a mom of 9. I've got a few, we'll get to meal prep, but this is mom chat too. A few things that have remained steady through my going on 3 decades of motherhood. Legos, all ages and stages, right? Trampoline. I've had a trampoline since I was a mom of 3, and every time something happens, tree branch falls on it or whatever happens, we will get a replacement trampoline. Hours and hours outside, tons of great books. Like Sound of Music, these are a few of my favorite things. Okay, and there was also some fun marshmallows stuck to that dishcloth, so I'm gonna let that soak for a minute, get these put up. But we've got, hey, some nice teenage chopped celery and some also real nice teenage chopped cucumber. Doing well. I'm going to just drain some of these. If I would have like some defrosted cubed ham, that's delicious in these salads. Turkey, I think I have some of like the carving board, Oscar Mayer type chunks of turkey and chicken, but those are in the freezer. And canned meat, give me protein of some kind. I've also put hard-boiled eggs and such in these. I have a jar salads book actually over on shop.largeforthetable.com that has a lot of different variation ingredient ideas to really, you know, if you want a Southwest salad or lots of different ideas in that. I'm going by what I have on hand. What do I need to use? So I'm going to start, well, I guess this could happen now. Although my cats would probably think I'm amazing if I drain that chicken for them, like the liquid. Let me be a good cat mom. Okay, do those, and we'll see if my can opener will behave. I'm telling you, I have some smaller cans of chicken also that I got sitting there. And these jar salads, folks ask me how long they last. I usually say mine last for up to 7 days. Let's see, I somehow didn't open. But usually 5 to 7 days. And those roasters that are behind me that are currently judging me, well, I think we're gonna try to get some butternut squash going in one too. But also tomorrow, you know what we're doing? All those chicken carcasses that are judging me in my freezer. I'm having some problems with my poultry freezer. I've ordered some magnetic tape. It's that door, the seal around the door, and I looked on Amazon. And I've seen where I can purchase the rubber that goes around a freezer, but some of the reviews weren't super, and there can be sizing issues. And anyway, I just thought, what if I get some really strong magnetic tape that like is a magnet and put that around the door? Maybe? I mean, you know, we're gonna find out, but I'd really hate to lose a freezer over something like that. I'm getting some things ready right now. We're gonna make some homemade buttermilk ranch with some seasoning also that I got from Azure. And I saw one of my guys earlier trying to get into this salami, and I thought, wouldn't that be delicious in some of these salads as well? So now it's open for them, although, woo, I kind of mangled it there. So we will chop up some of this for the jar salads as well. Buttermilk ranch, again from Azure, and I'll link their recipe for you down in the description below. They have a couple different items you can use with their buttermilk ranch seasoning. Mayonnaise, right, also Greek yogurt, and then they also say that you can use sour cream. Now, I've never used a homemade dressing on the bottom of a jar salad, and so all that means is maybe this dressing, after a few days sitting at the bottom of a jar salad, is gonna separate a little more than a store-bought dressing with all kinds of extra fun bonus ingredients. All that means to me is I'm just gonna have to stir my salad up a little more whenever I go to dump it out in a bowl. And then also what we have going on, so I'm gonna do a ×4. I'm gonna do a ×4 batch. So for theirs, it's 2 tablespoons of ranch, 8 ounces of Greek yogurt or mayonnaise or sour cream, and there's no other ingredients in it. Half a cup. So our 8 tablespoons is half a cup, and then I'm just gonna use all Greek yogurt. I pulled this out because, you know, because I don't always know what I'm doing until I'm in the middle of doing it, but this is 4 cups of Greek yogurt, and then we will use, although I probably, like already I'm ready the size bowl, I think we'll be okay. And then we're gonna use our half a cup of our Azure ranch. But I will pour it over, because you know I like to spill. Maybe we'll get some bonus ranch. Okay, and so it also says to add 4 to 8 ounces of milk, depending on desired thickness, and chill for 1 hour. So, would you believe, mom of 57 children, I'm out of milk. I'm out of milk. I was thinking through my alternatives. I do have some unsweetened almond milk. I mean, I need to go grocery shopping, you know, once every day of my life. I have some heavy cream. So this one has a little left. That one's almost done. And I have another full one. So I'm just gonna work with the heavy cream. I Googled it, which, I mean, that's pretty good. And I saw there are some recipe variations out there where people use heavy cream in place of milk for a delicious thick ranch. So we're gonna give it a go anyway. Alrighty, so 4 to 8 ounces. And we are doing a ×4 batch. I'm going to start with 2 cups, and then just know that we can put some more, add a little more in if we need to. Now, I don't like this chilling for 1 hour business. I don't have time for that. Although I guess I could let it chill for a little bit. Hold on, sniff test. Still good, still good. Okay, yeah. I don't know what's happening out there. We got some enthusiastic conversation going on. Although we do have that salami there. That's good. I know it's good because there's no smell. There should be no smell. I know we can chop that. I could wash the butternut squash. I need to decide how many stuffed butternut squashes I'm doing this afternoon. Although I just opened this, but just, naturally, mom stuff. I just smell everything. Is this dirty? I don't know. Let me smell. And I just decide from there. So, 2 cups. Did it. Probably need a mixer. Let's see, I'm not gonna put it in the sink yet. Probably just need a bigger bowl and to get the hand mixer going. That's, just give up and do it. Just give up and do it. Whee. It's gonna be happier ranch if we do. Then we will wash the butternut squash. We'll make butternut squash decisions. I think I made butternut squash soup last year. I've made it a handful of times. I think I made it for the first time in 2022. I have a video where I was doing a bunch of dairy-free, gluten-free meals for a local family that the dad had gone to the hospital unexpectedly. And it was the mom and 2 kids and a lot of medical appointments for a few weeks there. So we did some meals for them. I just had to pause to look at a Lego creation that part of it could be a dojo and it also had mandibles. And I'm like, what a great little vocabulary word there. Yay. Okay, I'm already thinking we need some more cream, which it gets into a whole fat content thing, and this is a higher fat content than the whole milk and all those, but we're eyeballing as we do. Was that? Yes, because it was 4 to 8 ounces per batch. We are doing 4 batches, so to have 4 cups, you know, I just talk myself through the math, that's all. Okay. I know it's supposed to chill. Hold on, I'm putting dishes away. I have someone that likes to make their own tea. All right, so, well, that looks nice. Still very thick. We'll give it a little round of chilling, but that's all it's gonna get. It's not gonna, no hour waiting around here. We got so many projects that we're gonna move on to. Probably a pretty enthusiastic bite of ranch. Oh, I got cucumbers. I've also been sampling the cucumbers. These are from Costco. I mean, that's delicious. It's ranch and it's delicious. And pretty decent ingredients. Okay, and again, we'll see how the homemade last. That last little bit of cream in there in the jar salads. So I'm just going to put it in the fridge. We do some other things, but not too long. Stay in there for just a few minutes. I've got from my big trail run this weekend, I've got my water pack. I'm trying to dry, so you know I don't grow mold in that, and I shoved a wooden spoon in it to kind of keep it open to help with it drying, and my preschooler got a hold of it this morning and he washed it again for me. So, oh, and look, I have another random butternut squash here. Well, I do want to get back to John Henry General Store here in a few days, so I want to finish tackling this produce. Did not mean to turn that on, so I can get some more. So I feel like I've been a good produce owner. They've had so many potato deals, and I know like in 2022 that you and we canned, I don't know, like 50 jars, 100 jars, 50 pounds, 100 pounds, so many pounds of potatoes, and those were so very hopeful and helpful. They've had potato deals. I see it on Facebook, like a 50-pound bag for $9.99. I'm like, no, I've got to get through my chicken carcasses and my beef bones first. That I was gonna do apples and I was gonna do pumpkins, but they got those potatoes. The thing is, these meal prep afternoons only take a couple hours, but canning is a commitment over continuing the same project for me over 2 to 3 days potentially, and it's hard to get that many days in a row to do a big dedicated project like that. But we are doing that with the chicken carcasses. I actually have that starting tomorrow. And when we get through that, we will move on to beef. And when we get through that, we will assess my local produce deals and make decisions from there. So I was thinking potentially 3 of these as, oh, look at this, random peanut butter granola bar. Kids live here, the Sharp Shopper deal. 3, which would be 6 halves that are stuffed. Or maybe 2. This one has a little judgy hole on it, but I think the rest of it's okay. We also have a spaghetti squash that I could also prep stuff, but I like to cook so many of these whole and then scoop out the seeds and the flesh and, you know, make the butternut squash into soup or whatever I'm going to do from there. I don't like chopping them and then roasting them beforehand. It's just a lot of chopping. If there's a way to be quick and efficient and get it done, some sort of multitasking, saving, you know, 30 minutes of chopping time way, that's my favorite. So we are going to use some of this Trim Healthy Mama bacon blend coming up with the chicken tenders. And I'm going to link that recipe for you down in the description below as well. And look, I found my roaster racks. Who are we? I still love whenever we like do whole chickens on any kind of root vegetable. That is nice, but this is perfect for these butternut squashes. So this one looks fine to use. I guess we're gonna make some decisions this way. This one is so big. Anyway, I could probably stack some in here too to roast them. Let's see, play a little roaster oven Tetris. Ah, nice. Okay, well that's 3 and that's 3. That's making the decision there. Pretty good. And I have made homemade butternut squash soup from scratch and froze it. It is just so delicious. So I'm just gonna crank this up for right now and let that do its thing. Now I am going to pierce my butternut squash assertively, and I just set a timer on my phone for, I think I did it for 90 minutes. These take a bit, and I've never used my 22 quart roasters to do butternut squash before, but with my big oven being down, I do believe we are going to continue to get to know the big roasters even more. It's Monday when I'm filming this, and I need to call, hold the to-do list. I need to call to check on my minivan. That's getting $1,000 of repairs, but you know what? I cannot buy another car for $1,000. So that'll be nice to have that button up and running. And yeah, this oven, need to just get that back on the list for this week. I did call a few weeks ago. Everything local was dead ends. I need to deal directly with the brand. Z-Line ovens, if you're watching this, please just take care of this for me. I'll get to it. So with these jar salads, the very first thing that I am doing is I'm just working on the task of cutting through some salami. I thought if I could have salami as a layer of protein, that would be delicious. I love Italian salads, Italian salad variations. My goodness, where are the banana peppers when I need them, right? But that's okay, because I was also working through with what I had on hand. I had, yes, ordered some items that had stacked up, such as the couple boxes of lettuce. I had other produce a week before when I thought I was doing these jar salads that I was going to use, and we had already gone through and eaten that down, which is great as long as we're using it. But thankfully, I had some salami deals from Sharp Shopper in the freezer. I got 4 more English cucumbers from Walmart and some more celery. And then I had some other produce odds and ends that I'd been gathering up with jar salads in mind. But I'm just thinking another time, oh man, add a layer of banana peppers. So I get a lot of jar salad questions, and the science behind it is you want to put your dressing at the bottom. I'm of course having salami samples, and I've had quite a few cucumber samples.
The science behind jar salads, and I have several different jar salad recipe and variation ideas in my jar salad cooking guide that I'll link for you down in the description below. But you put your dressing at the bottom, and then you put your layer of vegetables that you wouldn't mind if those produce items soaked in ranch dressing or Italian dressing or Olive Garden dressing, homemade dressing, whatever your favorite dressing is. So I usually think of things such as cucumbers and celery, maybe peppers, even your carrots could sit in dressing. Now, you don't want your protein to sit down in your dressing, and you don't want your lettuce to get down in your dressing. So it's all about the layers. So I will do a layer of dressing at the bottom, and then I'll do those vegetables that I don't mind basically marinating in a dressing for 5 to 7 days, however that works out. Then I can do a layer of other vegetables, like if I'd want to do some tomatoes. And then after that, I would have my proteins if I was going to have some cheese, or in this jar salad time we are using canned chicken. I'm also using some canned tuna because, hey, I have those things along with our salami. I'm also thinking, boy, pepperonis would be delicious. And you can use all of these proteins together. It's totally choose your own adventure. You could even do a layer of your healthy carbs. You could do a layer of corn, a layer of pinto beans or black beans, whatever you would normally layer in your salad, or if chickpeas is another thing that comes to mind. But at the very top of the jar salad, then I have the lettuce layer. And that keeps the lettuce nice and fresh because it's at the top, it's not in the dressing. And I put the lid on it, and I put these in the refrigerator for, as I say, at my house, they can usually be nice and fresh for 5 to 7 days. After 7 days, I mean, they might be okay. We can't guarantee nothing, right? Another thing I noticed is with the homemade dressing variation, obviously I saw some of the dressings separate, like some of the water separate, but we still used it for the 7 days, and it was very delicious. Now, with my homemade dressing, with the Azure recipe I used, I think I should have thinned it down a little more. It was thick, but whenever I dumped the jar salad out into the bowl, I just stirred it up a little bit with the other vegetables. No problems whatsoever. Just another time, another go round. And so here I am layering in the salami on top of the carrots. I have done so many different jar salad variations over time. Now, one of the questions that came in on one of my other videos actually this morning was, why dump the jars into a bowl when you could just eat them into the jar? But the thing is, the ingredients are packed so tight, and then it's several inches of lettuce at the top. There's no way to get the fork down and actually eat through the salad unless you were going to eat it in layers. So if you were going to, just eat lettuce, just eat chicken, just eat carrots, all the way down to your dressing. And so the point behind it is to have your salad prep, which, I mean, this takes me, over an hour to do this on this day, but it takes quite a bit of time to have salad fixings ready and make fresh salads every day. So I have found when I'm able to put the time in to do 24 or so jar salads, it's very nice for me and my family members who enjoy them. And that way we're eating 4 to 5 salads a day. Many times I'm also able to share a couple with friends when needed. If someone has a week with some medical appointments or some other things going on in their life, I can say, hey, I have a bag of muffins for my freezer, and here's 3 jar salads and a couple breakfast burritos, and I hope it just helps you get through your appointments and your extra things you're juggling this week. I'm not always able to do that because, of course, I feed a lot of people here, but when I have food prepped and ready to go, there are times where when I have meal prepped, it makes it easy for me to share as well. Giving 2 jar salads to a friend, and it gives them a couple days worth of lunches, that's great. See how beautiful those jar salads are. And again, this is just all my ingredients I had on hand. Nothing too fancy. Didn't take too much brain effort for me on this day other than having the veggies prepped and having this time to just go at filling my jars. And now we have 24 lunches ready to go. Look at us using things up. I had asked one of to bring me up a box just to keep these in the fridge. Now I'm taking some time to get some other cans of our protein opened up and drained and ready to go for more jar salad. So I have some smaller cans of chicken and also some canned tuna again in my basement grocery store. I want to get back to restocking my canned chicken and tuna because these are proteins that so many of my family members use in various ways. I mean, even one of my elementary guys, I mean, he just loves doing tuna salad, chicken salad. He can do it with several cans and our avocado mayonnaise and some salt and pepper, sometimes a little garlic salt. You know, he's got it going on. Sometimes he'll even add some chopped celery to it. And so we definitely, as a large household, have been running through the stocked up canned chicken and tuna. And so I want to take some time to bring those proteins forward and refill them towards the back, because when life implodes, when there's a lot to deal with, when there's unexpected things, having a pantry loaded with canned goods is so incredibly helpful. Now, from the future, I can say, guess what? Guess what? I didn't get to clean my basement grocery store yet and deep organize it. I want to. It's on the list. Have I been able to have several days to roast my chicken bones and my beef bones and get going on canning my chicken broth and my beef broth? I have not. Many times I make these plans and it can take me several weeks, sometimes a couple months to get these things done with all the vast, whole big list of life dynamics that I am juggling during this season of life. But one thing about Jam Fam, right? We keep moving forward. We put one foot in front of the other and we get stuff done eventually. And the food prep that I am able to do during one season helps me in the next season. Right now, we are using so many good things from the freezer that I prepped in August and September. Right now, from the future, when I'm recording this voiceover, it is October 2025. And just the other night, I got out 2 1-gallon bags of taco meat that you and I prepped and cooked, and I got in the freezer in April 2025. And in October 2025, we have several nights of big batch tacos from that taco meat that we put in the freezer in the spring. And so that's what meal prepping and meal prepping ahead does for me. You know, in my past universe, I was juggling a whole lot of kids and life dynamics. In my current universe, I still am, but I have an incredible amount of other things that I'm also juggling that I never knew would be part of my universe. And the meal preps and the freezer meals help me and my household time and time again.
So here's how our beautiful jar salads turned out. We've got 2 dozen made. We used up 2.5 bags of those carrots. We used up all the baby strawberries, all the cucumbers, so many good things. Some of these have salami, some have tuna, some have chicken. Yay, jar salads! All right, well, we get to mark off the whiteboard, jar salads and homemade ranch. Now, we're rolling into sugar-free, gluten-free breakfast burritos. If I said gluten-free breakfast burritos earlier, I didn't mean that. These are not gluten-free, but these are sugar-free and keto / low carb-ish. They could be gluten-free with different wraps, but I have more of these extreme wellness, high fiber, carb-friendly, made with avocado oil wraps. And what is this one? Yes, this one is 0 net carbs. So that has even more fiber. So anyway, I had a request for more of these, so we're gonna do some of these. But while I'm doing it, I'm adding to our list. I'm also gonna do a big egg, sausage, cheese scramble. Yes, we have some sausage biscuits in the freezer, but while I'm doing this anyway, just to have extra scrambled, it'll be, I don't know, 12 to 24 portions over the next 2 to 3 days. Options, depending on how big we make it. And actually, I have three pounds of sausage I can use. I thought, oh, I'll just do 2, but I mean, who am I kidding? So let me get this third one going. Because if we're doing it, right? That's our motto around here. I do need my spatula for part of this. Do I have one though? Do I own one? They must all be in the dishwasher. So I did get a call that my minivan is ready. I didn't even have to call. It was on my list from this morning and I didn't get to it. So that was nice. So I do need to go this evening when one of my young adults gets home. I will have them run me and I will pick it up. And it was less than $1,000. It was only $775. And I realized about a year ago that my inspection sticker on it had died the year before. So that's how on top of things I am sometimes. So it has some different, I don't know, it needed an alignment and a list of things. And it needed an inspection sticker. It needed some things done. So I will add that to my evening to-do list. I thought I was going to run this evening, but instead I'm going to pick up the minivan, which also means that we can do radical things like take trash. We do have to take our own trash here. There is not a trash pickup service in the rural part where I live. I've called about dumpsters, and I can get a 2-ton dumpster, but there's no top on it. I do have the phone number of a few other places to call. I just want a smaller dumpster with a lid that they can come once a month and dump for me on the list, right? But we were not able to take trash last week. We have a shed out back and we fill it every week, and every week it needs to be dumped. And one of my young adults on their off days will load up that van that I just had fixed and take the trash for the family household. We could not do that last week, and it'll be good to get it done this week. Okay. Well, while this sausage begins to do its thing, let's go mix up a whole bunch of eggs.
And before I get going with my egg scramble, I'm going to just get one of my bigger bowls, not the 30-quart bowl, but one of our bigger bowls out. I'm going to also get the heavy cream, and we are going to go to town just doing a basic egg scramble. There are definitely times where I just crack the eggs directly into the cast iron pan, into some lard or some tallow or some butter or some avocado oil or olive oil, just depends on whatever cooking fat I'm using on this day. Oh, I just remember duck eggs. Remember when we used to bake and cook with duck eggs all the time? That is such a nice memory. But that's okay. These Walmart eggs do the job for now, and currently they're only $11 a box. I know we live in times where sometimes they're like $27 to $32 a box, but right now egg prices are pretty fantastic. And so I'm just going to go through and crack multiple dozens of eggs here, and we are going to just run the mixer through them, and then we will get them cooking in our pans. And the egg cracking just continues. I just, you know, you get 1 dozen done and it's like that's, I mean, not in this house. 2 dozen, Also, I had an egg that cracked there in the box and I was like, that's okay. That cracked when I went to pull the egg out. So, still was going to use it, and at this point I'm like, yeah, I'm just doing the rest of this box, okay? There was a few eggs used when I started. It just made sense to go all out. I was going to do some low carb, trim healthy mama friendly breakfast burritos to have on hand, and then also have a big batch of egg scramble for the next morning or two as one of our several different breakfast options. I was doing sausage with this egg scramble. There's times where I use those cubed ham pieces. I've gotten those from Sharp Shopper and stocked up on those, and I also get those from Walmart. And those are very nice for an egg scramble. I added in a little heavy cream to our eggs and some salt and pepper. Now I am making sure that the sausage is cooked through. And once the sausage is cooked through all the way, we will work on cooking up these eggs. And we're always winning around here when we can find both mixer paddles. So just scrambling eggs with my hand mixer, yay. Also taking a minute to wipe down my mixer, wipe up my countertop, and any little spills anywhere that need a quick wipe up. And now we are back to working on the sausage. Both of my meat mashers that I have bought in recent weeks are still here. They're still at my house, and it is so helpful for whenever I'm cooking up several pounds of ground meat at a time. So if one is in the dishwasher, one has been in the drawer. Now, as you saw, I do have my little dividers in this drawer here by my stove that have popped out, and I do have a helpful family member that every once in a while when that happens, they'll get the dividers back in and get it organized for us, which I appreciate. And you can see all my books stacked on top of my back hutch there. Of course, that used to be my canning hutch where I would have canned foods and also freeze-dried food items for us. And now in my new universe, it is all the books I'm either reading or I'm going to read. What I need to do is I still have baskets on the top from back whenever my hopes and dreams were big gardens. And I had collected quite a few baskets. So I want to take the baskets down and organize those books. I mean, I'm fine if they stay in the stacks that they're in, but get them back in the basket area a little bit, and those baskets can just wait to fulfill their destiny in a different season of life. But right now, reading is something that is really making my heart happy. I've been finishing 7 to 10 books most months. For September, I finished 10 books, and that was great. And that also includes books that I'm doing with my elementary kids. So we did several, I think we did 4 Roald Dahl books in September. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, James and the Giant Peach, Fantastic Mr. Fox. I think there's another one. I'm going to say it's called The Magic Finger. That may be wrong, but anyway, we listened through several of those. This month in October, we're going through the E.B. White classics. Also in September, I read Jen Hatmaker's new memoir called Awake. Also in September, I did The Glucose Revolution by the Glucose Goddess. I always appreciate all of her blood sugar reducing hacks. I have put many of those in place in my life over the past year. I also read The Body Keeps the Score with my kiddos as well. We did The Wild Robot Escapes and The Wild Robot Protects. So now we finally have our eggs in the pan and we can move forward with this big scramble. I have found that doing a big scramble once or twice a week has been helpful, just as I've shared, to have additional breakfast options. I do keep certain breakfast things on hand as much as possible. I mean, as much as any mother with 57 children can stay on top of things. But I usually keep a variety of breakfast bagels and cream cheese on hand, and I do have several of my family members who like having that as an option. Then we have had breakfast burritos from the freezer and some different breakfast burrito variations that I have prepped for the week. We've had this big scramble that I've been able to do at least once a week for the last couple weeks, which is helpful. And then I still have people who will make something different, or maybe do some oatmeal or something. If you have 10 different people, you might end up with 10 different breakfast varieties some mornings, and that is fine. I know back in my past universe, like I like to joke about, many times I was able to do a set breakfast in the morning, and it would be breakfast for 10 or 11, and it would be a big pot of oatmeal or a big egg scramble for that day, or pancakes in the oven, or what have you. I just have even more life variables that I juggle these days, and so that's where prepping ahead and having freezer meals are so very helpful. And freezer meals were definitely helpful in the past with a large family, and they're even more helpful, I'm finding, in my new season of life as a single mom and working and managing and doing and running and appointments and activities and all of these things solo. Freezer meals really, really help us all the time. So now we've just added the sausage back in now that the eggs are all scrambled up, and I'm just going to mix these up together nicely, and then we will add in a good bit of cheese. How many cups, how many handfuls, who knows? Because we had some shredded cheese left from some other projects, and cheese always makes everybody happy, so why not go cheese crazy, right? So there's 2 big happy handfuls of cheddar cheese. Sometimes I use a cheese blend, or I'll use provolone. Whatever cheese we have. Pepper jack cheese would be delicious in an egg scramble like this. You could also roast some potatoes and mix in. Absolutely delicious. I'm hungry now. Let's do this. So now I'm taking my egg scramble out of the pan, and we are going to make some low-carb, Trim Healthy Mama S meal friendly breakfast burritos to have on hand for those who would like that variety. We still have in the freezer from one of my last big freezer meal breakfast times, we have some great value tortilla breakfast burritos that I still have. My guys will get out from frozen and put in the refrigerator and then heat those up in the microwave the next morning as well for another breakfast option. I believe there's 1 gallon freezer bag of gravy left. There are no biscuits. No biscuits have ever been made here. There are no biscuits here. You did not just see hundreds of biscuits made a few weeks ago. I don't know what you're talking about. So anyway, no biscuits are here, but that's okay. There will be some more breakfast burritos and a breakfast scramble, and we'll continue on from here. I am going to wrap several of these burritos in our foil as well. So yes, here I am again, getting ready to mangle my foil. I had the foil sheets in my Walmart cart the other day, and I have not, click the button, put that order in. I know they're also available at Costco and Sam's. You guys have told me, but I'm not going into either of those before Walmart can bring them to my door. But yet it hasn't brought them yet. So anyway, we're doing what we need to do. There is a smaller family with some medical things happening not too far from me, family of 3, and I'm going to give them a couple of these for some breakfast options as well. So I'm probably passing on 8 for their world, and then I will keep the other 8 here for some meal prep plus the scramble. They'll just have to deal with my little oddly wrapped situation. Follow me for foil folding advice. I also have in my Walmart cart some parchment paper sheets. So that is good. Let's see, these might just actually wrap just fine that way.
And now I'm like, okay, wait, let's do 12. We're gonna get 4 out of this foil. Hot. These might be a little thinner. Several of you have told me, hey, at least I'm sharpening my scissors, so that's good. It's like if you give a mouse a cookie, now I realize, well, I'm gonna need to make a few more burritos too. That was 9, 10. Pull that out. Okay, so I've got a few more left in this pack, and these will stay at my house. See, I did get rid of my fork though. Probably should have done 4 dozen eggs, huh? That's okay. This was just another option among what's happening. But my 8-year-old did come through already and get some. He loves this stuff. Now we'll have a little precious bowl of scramble. And 7 prepped burritos. And for emergencies, life, all the things, we do have traditional great value tortilla breakfast burritos in the freezer too. Go in the fridge as some breakfast options, and me thinking I had made 24 servings of scramble that would be left. No, that is okay. We have other options. All right, friends, good afternoon. I have about an hour right now, and then this evening, between kid activities, I'll have another little window of time to work through these current big cooking projects. So here's the butternut squash. I know they don't look too appealing or appetizing, but these are going to become homemade butternut squash soup. And I'm just thinking through layering, getting done what we need to get done this afternoon. I'm really excited about making these from scratch breaded but gluten-free, sugar-free chicken tenders. so excited about that. I've got a recipe and I'll link it down below from my Montana kitchen. And it's classified as a Trim Healthy Mama S meal, and it fits into a lot of different dietary needs and eating styles as well. So we're gonna make those. I think I have about 9 pounds of chicken tenders left over from a Blackstone cooking day. Several weeks ago, I got a good bit of chicken tenders done, but anyway, those were left. And those were the ones that got thrown back in the freezer because I didn't end up using that last 9 pounds on that day. So we're gonna tackle those. I'm very excited about that. Not so excited about scooping out the seeds out of these butternut squash to do stuffed butternut squash, but I'm excited about also eating stuffed butternut squash. And I mean, some of these are huge and some of these are smaller. We're gonna do all 3 because that's the amount that I have left. We also have a little acorn squash that's judging me. Oh, that one side doesn't look too good, but that's okay. Then we have this spaghetti squash, and I have recipes over on largeformatable.com for stuffed spaghetti squash and zucchini boats and all these variables. I'm going to let this spaghetti squash continue judging me for today. I mean, I think, although then I'm like, I'm a woman with a little bit of time. I best not, but there is some water in this bowl, and I need to get those things out of there and clean this bowl. So why don't I just do that here instead of dancing around looking at it and talking about it. So workflow wise, I think the very first thing I need to do is get these butternut squash. Obviously, you know, I don't like to cut no butternut squash open, or pumpkins for that matter. If I can just cook them whole, I'd rather do that. But we have only one small sensible oven that we're working with these days. So gonna get those going, move into chicken tender prep, and at some point get those other butternut squashes in a pot. We'll use the immersion blender. Now, you can do butternut squash soup if you do dairy. You can use heavy cream, you can use sour cream, you can saute your onion and garlic and such in butter. If you're doing it dairy-free, you can of course use coconut milk. You can also saute your vegetables in coconut oil or avocado oil. I've made it for friends and have kept it dairy-free as well. Every time I make it, I say, I'm gonna get this recipe up over on the blog. I've been saying that for like 3 years now, but it's super easy and the immersion blender does the trick. And we need to have our oven on about 425. And cast iron is in there, so perfect. Hey, we're ready. We're ready to do those chicken tenderloins. So that is nice. Again, if only I had chickens. I know the seeds of these, well, and pigs. Farm animals, farm life, always love the vegetable scraps. Will we have chickens next year? I don't know, but we've been talking about it. Everyone has really good chicken memories. And I'm using my sheet pan because several of you have mentioned lately about using my sheet pan whenever, you know, summer, cutting all that watermelon. And I like that idea. So I'm just gonna give it a go here with this butternut squash too. Okay, it's been a while. I wonder what my arm strength is. So the first time I did from scratch butternut squash soup was in past universe timeline 2022-ish. I think I have a video where we had a local group of friends and one of the parents was in the hospital, and they were also gluten-free and dairy-free. And I did a bunch of freezer meals for them and got some portions in my freezer. So I think that variation I made dairy-free, and I've done it again several times. I think I've done it almost every fall since then. Really? Yes, okay. Thinking through our cooking project. So the first time I did it, I had one of my folks cut the butternut squash out. And sorry, we're looking for bowls here. Oh, I like our precious little baking sheet. It's just so cute. This came with one of these other baking sheets I bought, and it's just precious. Anyway, I had one of my teens at the time chop the butternut squash into chunks. And pretty sure I cooked it in the pot that way. Maybe we covered it with water. I'll link that video below. I was actually watching through it. Anyway, it's got some good, healthy food options in it. I won't worry about picking with those random seeds at the moment. Anyway, then the next time I made it, again, I'm always looking for efficiency and shortcuts. I'm like, I spent all that time chopping all that down, where just like with the pumpkins, if I can just, you know, slice them in half and cook them, or cook them whole. I do that with a lot of different root vegetables and things. Pierce it, cook it whole, and deal with the inside later. But this will be a fun, different way. And actually, butternut squash is being pretty kind right now. We like our kind butternut squash. These are cutting nice and easy. Okay, thank you. We will feed the wildlife our seeds. The squirrels are out, everything's in fall season now, so I know some wildlife here will enjoy these. So we will feed something with it. And I believe, so the recipe, I'll link it down below, that I'm using for the stuffed butternut squash. And I'll also link my zucchini boats and my stuffed spaghetti squash variations too. Because variations are fun and they can give you some ideas to springboard off of, and then you can end up doing something totally different if you want. But this particular recipe had the seasonings and the protein. It was ground beef, and I believe mixed it with, well, we'll look at the recipe, but it was a pound of ground beef for one butternut squash, because you're gonna make a filling for it. And this one will be interesting. So we have 3 pounds of butternut squash, and I might actually, I have 5 pounds. Let's create some recipes, right? I have 5 pounds of ground beef from yesterday that's defrosted. I should have had a kitchen towel under this, right? To keep this board from slipping. I probably cook up, because I'm always looking. I'm the queen of looking for ways to get more protein in. Add some more protein to the recipe. So since we have 5 pounds defrosted, probably just saute up all 5 pounds, and the other 2 pounds, let's put it in this butternut squash soup. Why not? Okay. And I will, in whatever pot we use to do that soup, I will saute up some onions and some garlic, even though, like I say, I got some onion fans, but since it'll be blended up with the immersion blender, we will saute up the onions and the garlic. And then what I'm getting distracted thinking about is the cheese that I need for this. I have some shredded cheddar, but I believe that this recipe called for mozzarella, and I thought the other day, okay, I could order a little bit of mozzarella, Walmart delivery, or but then I was like, no, I have a whole log of provolone from Sharp Shopper, and I have teenagers, so surely someone here could shred up some provolone. We don't have to put the cart before the horse, because again, right now, like, I got 42 minutes left on my timer, so I'm going to, we just need to keep moving ahead. We'll get there. And actually, while I take some kids to activities, I'll have another person at home that could shred some provolone for their mom, and then when I get back, we'll have that. So, and I can't use this baking sheet. That would have been like the ultimate multitasking, huh? Because these full-size baking sheets don't fit in that baby oven. Now, our ultimate baby oven was the oven I had for like, what, 3 or 4 years in the original baby, 1963 baby kitchen here. That was small. That was like the oven in the size of a camper. And we used it, and we did large family meals and massive large family freezer meals, like a lot. So even though you see me with this nice big kitchen, I have cooked in the smallest of small kitchens. Even when Becky from Maker Homestead and her mom came to visit me in 2022, Becky was like, this kitchen, speaking to my baby one, she's like, it's even smaller than it looks like on the videos. It was small, but we did it just like I did it in my farmhouse with no dishwasher and yeah, barely any room. Okay, that one is so big, it's just going to fit on one. And I can use olive oil. I happen to have a decent amount of avocado oil right now. The recipe probably gives you like a tablespoon of olive oil. We just eyeball things a lot over here, don't we? We'll do, this is half a teaspoon of Redmond salt. And there we go. That's good enough to me. I'll get this in, and then I'll get another small baking sheet. Okay, now I'll get another baking sheet to put these other ones on.
But that's okay. We are still doing the oven juggle, and we have juggled bigger things before. So I am just going to pour a little avocado oil on each one of these butternut squash, a little bit of Redmond salt, and we will rotate those through the baby oven as well. And then we are going to start to work on blending up the butternut squashes we did in the roaster oven the day before and make those into the delicious butternut squash soup. So not super glamorous, but it was a good way to cook up the butternut squash. And I'm just going to remove the skins now. You can take the time, and we have in the past. We have peeled them, we have cubed them. It's just all the chopping involved. You know, that's 30 minutes. I could be doing something else. So I like to, even though it's, you know, it's ugly cooking, it's okay, it works out. I like to roast them and then scoop the seeds out, peel the skin off, and then I can easily blend them up from there to make into our protein-packed butternut squash soup that was so very delicious. I also got several containers of it in the freezer, and I'm a big fan of butternut squash time of year for sure.
Well, this is not those chicken tenders that I so badly want to get going, but the butternut squash has led us here. So we do have our 3 butternut squash roasting, and we are now dealing with our already roasted butternut squash. And it would make sense, you know, if I could have the onions and the garlic currently sauteed, but that's okay because it's done anyway. But when you do your butternut squash soup, like if you just play this entire video and you cook along with me, right, that would be a nice workflow step to get that sauteing. And that's okay though. I hear a lot of sizzling in there. I guess it's all that oil. I just had 2 people out of the house for 48 hours, so while I've been in here prepping this, I've been getting updates, and I've got 29 minutes left, and was some beat from something that's not mine. I think someone has a watch maybe sitting over on the table. So we're just gonna keep on trucking. I think, boy, I just put these wrong pile. I think realistically in 29 minutes, I will turn off the roasted butternut squash in the oven, and I'll leave them in there most likely. I guess I'll look at them and decide at the time, because this one had the spot at the top. We'll just remove that. And I will be gone for about an hour. Or I'll set them on top of the stove to cool. We'll decide. And then we might have our butternut squash soup done and also cooling, which that's great because then we can portion what I'm going to keep out to eat as food options over the next few days and what will be frozen. I have frozen it in gallon freezer bags just fine as well. Oh, but we need to saute that ground beef. Maybe we will get that done also. And then plan my evening with me. I will have a 2-hour block that I will come home before I go pick up another person really close to home from activities. And during that time, maybe we get the chicken tenders done. Still on my list, what I decided to go with, there's a sugar-free, gluten-free dinner roll recipe, many of them out there, but one in Dr. Ben Binkman's book. It's called How Not to Get Sick. I read that in early 2025, and it lined up with a lot of changes and tweaks I was already doing. And it also has recipes in the back, some pretty good ones, and I'm excited to do some of those. So I thought I would do the rolls that he has in that book. And then I've read How Not to Get Sick, and then also his other book called Why We Get Sick. And it gets down to a lot of blood glucose and insulin levels. And he teaches about those. He's a metabolic scientist, I believe, is his title there. Sorry, this butternut squash had some pieces I'm just gonna pull off of it here. And he has worked with many on reversing type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance, lowering A1C, similar to Dr. Jason Fung, and also Glucose Goddess and Dr. Mindy Peltz, and so many of these people that I've learned even more from over the past year. And I don't need to cut any of this up because, again, we're going to use the immersion blender. So it looks like a bloody murder mess, only it's with butternut squash. And I wasn't 100% sure that I was going to be able to do a dessert. I still may end up doing this dessert tomorrow morning, but I was going through, of course, all my favorite Trim Healthy Mama recipes that I love so much. And I haven't made their Cinnabon cake in timeline. Well, 16 to 18 months. It's been a good bit. Last time I made them, I believe I made 3 to 4. We ate 2, I froze 2. It's delicious, and you know I've done a lot of chocolate and peanut butter type variations of gluten-free, sugar-free, keto-ish friendly desserts here lately, and I was like, what's something different? Although I also love all my favorite flavors. Ah, that Cinnabon cake, that's delicious, and it's been a bit. That can also be, you know, afternoon Jamerrill being excited, thinking that we're gonna get to that. There may be no sugar-free desserts that go down, but if I could pull it off, which I might be able to, I'm looking for my garlic. There it is. If I can pull it off, I'd like for us to do that. So while I have my messy chopping block, I'm gonna go ahead and cut up this onion. Okay, also kind of a mess, but we'll saute those up and do that with some garlic. And I can probably use this back burner for the goose pot. It's fun to be using more of the stove, you know we have. And today we are. Just gonna throw some avocado oil in there. Oh, and some bacon grease. Hold on. You know I love to collect bacon grease. Oh, I don't know if this is gonna... But this is some from a little bit of bacon we did the other day. So I guess we are doing okay prepping components right now. probably a good splash of avocado oil, 2 tablespoons of bacon grease. Happiness. I'm going to that's not 1/4 of a cup. That we'll call that 3 tablespoons. Now I guess I'm bringing the whole mess down here. Let that do its thing for a few minutes. And while we're sauteing things, let's saute up some garlic to go in our ground beef. Also because, why not? And a little bit of bacon grease. We will also call it a tablespoon because that sounds delicious. Time, I got 13 minutes. I think we can cook through our ground beef here in a minute in that time. Smells delicious over here, that's for sure. This is our ground beef we got at Sharp Shopper the other day. I'm going to go ahead and just use this knife because it's already dirty. But it was, I think it was $3.99 a pound for 80/20 ground beef. And I'm not in the position right now to buy a full cow. So it's good. It's good whenever you can. I love it when I do. I have bought many full cows over the years. It's either just a little under 3,000 or just a little over 3,000. But all the hundreds and hundreds of pounds of meat that I get and all the cuts, it's a lower price per pound. It's just more money out up front. Many times when buying a full cow, half a cow, or 1/4 of a cow, you can put like a down payment down. I think before they required like $700, and then I have the rest paid for before pickup. And sometimes I've ordered a cow and it might be 6 or 8 months in advance before I get it. Just depends. Just depends on the time of year, what's happening, with their orders, how many people are ordering up front, and all of that. I know that I have sold full cows through my channel because I've shared about where I've bought a full cow before, and then I've shared the farm information, and I'm pretty sure for J&L Green Farm, they had some full cow orders from other states, from different places in America, so that's cool too. But right now, in my single mama budget, I'm not going to get a full cow. I did spend $40 on this ground beef. That was $3.99 a pound, and I got 10 pounds, but I know I use 3 to 5 to 6, 7, 8, 9 pounds of ground beef at a time, depending on the project. And I know some people have said to me, Jamerrill, haven't you been providing for your family online for over a decade? I have, and I do still have a full-time business. Would you believe that a single mom of not really 57 children, only a single mom of a household of 10, only 6 minor children, and only insert this list of additional life dynamics, would you believe that I have more expenses and financial responsibility and life and stuff and things all on me, supporting my household? Yes, I've been the 100% income provider for over a decade, but now I have multiplied more expenses, things I have to pay, additional services, extra things I have to pay out of pocket for just to be able to do daily life. So as I talk about my budget and buying food and feeding a large family, and for the first time in like 8 years I'm not buying a full cow this year, and yes I do have a full-time business. I do have other families represented who work for me online, and I have a lot more services and helps and bills and a lot more weight right here. These are my shoulders on me. And so even what used to be my monthly family household budget, I'm doing math here. I bet my household budget has increased. It's probably multiplied by 4. So like whatever my budget used to be in my last universe, my budget now, everything all in all, has probably times 4 multiplied. So that's fun. And then my business, because my capacity was down for so long as I was, hit by the freight train and not leaving the planet and all of those things, my capacity was down work-wise with my business. So although my business still was a full-time business when life imploded, my income went down by 1/3, which is a blessing. I worked so hard all those years in the past universe to, as a woman, have built a business so I could care for my household when life imploded. But besides my monthly budget, times 4, just whatever your monthly budget is, just picture it times 4, and then picture your income, your one budget times 4. Your income went down by 1/3. It doesn't quite math, and I got a lot in my life still. 2 years in, it's not quite mathing, but I'm taking it day by day and doing the best I can with it. And we're getting ground beef, and we're going to evening activities, and I'm gonna get a run in, and it's all my new favorite phrase, life and stuff and things, and we're doing it. While that ground beef is cooking, I got one of my folks who's getting ready to eat one of the jar salads that we prepped yesterday, so I'm just gonna show you how that looks when it's dumped out in the bowl. I was explaining it to a friend last night. They were like, what in the world's a jar salad? I don't understand. And they asked me if they were canned. So this one is where I got a little messy with the ranch. You're not supposed to have dressing up here. And I think only 1 or 2 of these I goofed. But it's because our homemade dressing was so thick. So the idea is the dressing's at the bottom, and you got your vegetables that can sit in the dressing. Like you probably wouldn't mind your celery and cucumber and some carrot, like bean and ranch dressing for a few days. And then you would have your protein, which I think this one has tuna in it. Some of them we did cheese and chicken. And then you stuff your lettuce at the top. And as long as you don't have this extra dressing at the top, they should be good in the refrigerator for about 5 to 7 days. I've definitely had them, to be eating the last one on day 7, no problem. And I asked this family member, I said, oh, can I video dumping out your salad so I could show it to my Jam Fam online here? It is cute. My younger guys, they were like, what's Jam Fam? And I said, mom's got to have fun. And I just thought, hey, that's my timer. I just thought it would be fun to have a community name and like keep this fun. So they've been calling themselves Jam Fam, which is so cute. I'll hear them saying, hey, Jam Fam. So anyway, you see that our dressing is a little thick. I could have added some more water to that, but there we go. We have a jar salad we prepped yesterday, easy dump and go today.
And we love easy dump and go meal prep. Absolutely how we get things done around here. And so now I'm adding in our roasted butternut squash into my, I believe it's a 15.5 quart goose pot. I love that pot, and I cannot wait one day for when we have a working full-size oven again and I can do 2 chickens at a time in there, right? But that's okay because we can still use the pot on the stovetop. I'm adding in a good bit of heavy cream, and we've already sauteed our garlic and our onions, and so now it's a matter of taking the immersion blender all through it, getting everything nice and blended up together. And then we are going to add in the ground beef because we have it. Why not?
Chicken broth. That's what I'm forgetting. I was thinking this is awfully thick. I need a couple quarts of chicken broth. Might need 2 quarts, might need 3. Again, we eyeball it around here. See if I have something to lift this with. Okay, I think because I have it here, I can use this third quart of chicken broth because this chicken broth is delicious and we are making more. Coming up, yes we are. Of course I thought today I would work on getting that broth going, but instead today I'm doing yesterday's recipes, and that's okay because we still get it done. Okay, I just tasted that. That's delicious. Hold on here. I'm gonna come around with the ground beef now. I have never put ground beef in butternut squash soup, but I don't think there'll be any complaints here. I'm already not complaining. I guess my only complaint is I'm like, oh, probably only 2 pounds of ground beef. Probably needs some more. You know I'm not a 2 pounds only ground beef kind of lady. We like 5 pounds, 7 pounds. But that looks delicious. Okay. Look at my precious little bowl. Don't think I'm so sensible. It's just what I grabbed. Okay, so this is delicious. Now we're gonna move on to the next thing. So for the butternut squash soup, it was 3 medium roasted, cooked through butternut squash, and then we mangled them. So mangle your butternut squash. We sauteed our minced garlic and our onion in some bacon grease and avocado oil. No complaints there. I added about 2 to 3 pounds of ground beef, whole thing of heavy cream. Not even doing the directions in order though. But that's okay. Before I put the ground beef in, and after I put the heavy cream in, then we used the immersion blender and we immersion blended it. Yes, we did. Then I added the ground beef, and now I'm going to drink a bowl of it. So I'm going to drain what I have left of this ground beef, somewhere between 2.5 and 3 pounds, and then, well, then we've got some directions here from the recipe I'm following. Let me get my little mitts here, and some seasonings and heavy cream and cheese and things. Mostly in their ground beef. Okay. And I have my last bite. That was delicious. I will not be mad for sure about having that soup prepped. And like I said, get some in the freezer. Okay, so ground beef back in the pan. This situation, we'll sit over there and like it. So let me turn the heat back on low. And they have seasoning with, and this is for 1 pound of ground beef. It just says seasoned with salt, pepper. And then it has thyme, rosemary, nutmeg, and if you would like, crushed red pepper. So I'm just going to do a little bit of Redmond salt. For example, for the 1 pound of ground beef, there is half a teaspoon of thyme. So I have 1 teaspoon here. Do that, and then I'm just going to eyeball another half because I'm pretty sure I have about 3 pounds of ground beef there. Same thing with the dried rosemary, half a teaspoon for 1 pound, and we're doing times 3, so we will do a teaspoon and a half, and then the nutmeg is 1/4 of a teaspoon, so we would need a half. So I'm just going to dust my little rosemary off the teaspoon there and eyeball a half a teaspoon. And I'm going to leave out the crushed red pepper. We just won't have that experience for some of my folks who will eat this. Stir this up. Okay, and then it's 1/4 of a cup of heavy cream. So we will do 3/4 of a cup. We'll let this start liking it again. Okay, and with the heavy cream, then we added, now they're using mozzarella. While I was gone, I had one of my folks cut up 1/4 of our Sharp Shopper cheese log, and hopefully this is enough for the rest of things I want to do. So add a cup of cheese. Then it talks about you can scoop out some of the butternut squash to leave about 1/2 inch or so around the edges, or you can mix the squash with the beef mixture. We'll choose our own adventure there. But basically fill it back up with this ground beef mixture, top with more cheese, mozzarella or provolone if that's what you have, the cheese you have, and then put it back in the oven for about 5 minutes. So we're going to get this going with our heavy cream on the stove top. So we're almost done with these stuffed butternut squashes. Oops, little spill. Pretty okay.
Remember, these are my 17-inch Lodge cast iron skillets. So, looks may be deceiving. It may not look like a lot of meat, and really 3 pounds is not that much, but we're in a big pan, as we do as well, which is why we many times cook 10 to 12 pounds of ground beef in here.
Okay. I'm going to cover a handful of cheese is a cup of cheese around the world, as we've always said around here, right? And I don't remember if YouTube viewers told me over a decade ago that that's how they measured a cup of cheese, or if that's how I was saying I measured a cup of cheese. But I do know we have been saying that for a long time over here. This looks delicious.
Big, yummy meaty, cheesy mess. Always a favorite. Stack my baking sheets on my plates as we do. Okay. I mean, you could probably go a lot of ways with this. I'm going to add this butternut squash into the ground beef. I just think that's the way I'm going to go with it. And if I end up with more filling than butternut squash, that's okay. That one butternut squash was obviously super giant. I should have taken that one and made that one into our soup. Sorry, it's getting later in the evening now, and tired mom brain is with us now. I always say Dr. Seuss quote at the end of the day: today was good, today was fun. Tomorrow is another one. Am I doing it right? Every day from here to there, funny things are everywhere. And my folks will say, you sound like Dr. Seuss. And I'm like, exactly. That's where I got that quote. Even if I mangled it, that's where it came from. Okay. I'm going to mix this in together. Then we'll put them in the oven. So we'll just have a butternut squash, cheesy, meaty time. And these I wouldn't freeze, but meal prepping, you know, it'll give, I mean, however many people, 2 to 4 might have one a day over the next 2 to 3 days. And we do have, and that I'm sure that this could be mashed up more, but I don't mind the big chunks of butternut squash. So. Some more. So these are not dairy free, but I know there are dairy free cheeses. You could probably use coconut milk, coconut cream in place of the heavy cream. So always ways to swing it. Don't these look delicious? Yum. Okay, that's gonna melt. So even if it's some chunks, that'll be fine. I won't tell if you don't. And we have 2 giant ones to do now. These are just probably, honestly, I feel like they're just too big to stuff. So now that I've looked at them. So kind of what I'm thinking about doing, I believe this is what I'm doing. I meal prepped these giant ones just to eat
Do you like this? And the rest of this ground beef and the butternut squash chunks I'm going to add to the rest of this butternut squash soup. I think that's sensible because these are just so big. It probably needs like, well, I feel like at least another pound of ground beef. I might want another soup bowl sample. I think that's a good, this is good. There's cheese in it. That's not gonna hurt the butternut squash soup, and none of those seasonings is gonna hurt it either. So look at us, we're ahead, we're winning. There will be a few chunks of butternut squash in there. Variety. All the different ways to eat your butternut squash. 'Tis the season. I keep seeing this tie on my dress and I kept thinking it was cheese hanging. It's like, what? How did I get that cheese dripping off me there? Okay. So I think we have just recipe created a stuffed butternut squash soup too, right? I think so. I think this could be a whole thing now because these ingredients look delicious. I am going to unplug my immersion blender. Really, I'm just worried about getting more of this soup in this bowl. That's my goal in life. I am plotting for this. Very, very yummy and delicious. And we will go ahead and put these in the oven now for a few minutes. And you can see they are so delicious and melty, cheesy, and so many yummy things. And now the next day I am working on getting what is left of our protein-packed butternut squash soup into my freezer-friendly containers. I will leave a sampling of these in the refrigerator for a day or two, and then what is left will go in the freezer. I know I have there's about 4 of us who would really enjoy and who did enjoy this butternut squash soup. It's not something that my younger crew are going to chow down on, but it is something that, again, about 4 of us absolutely love, and getting a couple containers into the freezer is very helpful. And these are 16-ounce containers, I think, or maybe they're 32. Whatever the ounces on these deli containers, but I use them for soup and other things. I will eat this whole thing. Like, this would be my lunch and a jar salad, and I had, from the future, I can say I had several lunches that looked just like that in the coming week. And so now we are going to town, big batch meal prepping these Trim Healthy Mama friendly, low carb. If you're doing Trim Healthy Mama in particular, these are considered an S meal. If you're doing low carb, if carb conscious in general, keto, this recipe in particular, it's from My Montana Kitchen. I'll link it down in the description below. And they are a faux breaded chicken tender variation, and we are going to use the Trim Healthy Mama baking blend, but she has tips on how to make your own, and I have also shared through several different videos Trim Healthy Mama's recommendations for making your own baking blend if you need to, and I will link those variations below, because I know one of the questions I get a lot when I get doing recipes using their baking blend is, what if you don't have their baking blend? And there are variations out there. So the recipe that I am using is from My Montana Kitchen. It's called Restaurant Style Breaded Chicken Tenders, Low Carb Trim Healthy Mama S Meal, with our favorite ingredient, the Trim Healthy Mama baking blend. And so I will link her recipe down in the description below. Hers, of course, is for a sensible amount. It's 2 pounds of chicken tenders. We're doing 15 pounds of chicken tenders because that's how we roll. 1 cup of baking blend. I'm gonna math all this out. She's got onion powder, garlic salt, smoked paprika, chili powder. She also mentions a Creole seasoning you can use instead, but she advises don't use both. And then 3 eggs. And then she uses refined coconut oil for the frying. Well, we've got all kinds of good cooking fat, so we're gonna choose our own adventure with that. But I'm using this as the base. I'm taking her seasonings and everything, and I'm just mathing it out. And of course, doing a large family mega batch. And of course, I'm not working with an even number here, so I'm just gonna pretend like I only have 14 pounds of chicken tenders. So 7 cups of baking blend. And then we might as well go 2 tablespoons, even, you know, little less, little more, 2 tablespoons on all the breading ingredient, all the seasonings. Okay. Okay, I got it. So we are just going to 2 tablespoons, everything to pieces here for a moment. Except, pretty sure she said 1 tablespoon of chili powder, and that would be 7 tablespoons or so. So I just did 4, okay? Okay, that's just me making some stuff up as I go. I will do a teaspoon of salt. In case I need to refill. Okay, and just getting all my little thoughts together. What else? Well, we have a lot of tallow, so that is what we are going to fry these chicken tenders up in. I didn't actually end up using this knife, so I'm going to put this away really quickly. That box has seen better days, though. These away real quick. I will just hand whisk these eggs. Gotta click those. She's got a cup of baking blend, onion powder, garlic salt, paprika, and a tablespoon of chili powder. And really, I'm not totally mathing it out because her 2 pounds of chicken version is 1.5 teaspoons. So I'm just doing quick general approximations. I hate to use 7 cups of baking blend though right now. This is a 1/2 cup, and boy, that was heaping, huh? So we'll call that 2. 3. I want to check, hold on here. Okay, I am baking blend rich because I have a whole other unopened bag. There was another dessert I wanted to make, and I'm like, oh. Okay. I'm going for 5-ish. 5 happy heaping cups there of baking blend. Gonna see, can we kind of mix it all together? I'm asking a lot. I'm asking a whole lot of this little bowl. And let me get our tallow. Okay. Thank you, tallow. Just figured this could start heating up and liking it. Have to be stingy with the tallow, okay? We got all that. There's tallow that we need to work through. We need to do many more tallow biscuits for our future. Okay. no coconut oil here for us right now. I'm reading. Another shallow bowl or pie pan, mix baking blend with the spices. Yes, well, this is the way we're doing it. When the oil is heated, dip the chicken tenders in egg, then dip them in the baking blend to thoroughly coat, and then fry in the hot oil for approximately 3 minutes on each side, or until cooked through. Now she has a note if you don't have baking blend, which again, her recipe for you to follow it exactly will be linked down in the description below. She says if you do not have baking blend, you can use 1/3 cup each of almond flour, coconut flour, and flax meal. So that is good to know. Get around there, tallow. It's a big time burrito. And I should probably put both of those on low for the moment, because I'm not quite ready. Almost there, almost there. So I decided to do 15 pounds because I've got a lot of people here. I feel like this will be one of those super popular things that's gone in a minute. Plus there's another small family that I've shared some, I say small portions, but for their family, I mean, it's, you know, could be 2 to 4 meals for them. So I do hope to, out of these 15 pounds of chicken tenders, I'll probably drop off about 2 pounds worth to them, which will be nice, and I plan to give them a couple of the jar salads and a few odds and ends there. We might end up needing that whisk again, but anyway, so for their family, that'll be good. Okay, I think we're ready to get this party started. So, egg first, and then dip it through. This is my version of a shallow pie pan. Okay, here goes the first one. Let that heat up a little bit. It has decided to rain today, and me and my kids were just talking about all the weather changes already. You know, the seasons change, and in Virginia, you can really tell the seasons just jump in and start doing their thing. It's like, okay, it's fall now, so let's have some rainy 60-degree days, and then let's go back and have some 84-degree days, you know? It's the back and forth here.
And now I'm just going through the process of dumping each chicken tender through the egg and then pulling it through the baking blend and all the seasonings that we have in our separate bowl, and then getting them cooking in some cooking fat in the large Lodge cast iron pan. We are going to get 2 pans going at one time, so look at us juggling things, and I just get my assembly line going and we go to town making this work. And I get one pan cooking pretty well, and then I need to flip my chicken tenders in my other pan. It is a little bit of testing and mama winging it science to know when to turn my chicken tenders. Also making sure I have the correct internal temperature, working to not burn some. I did get some of them a little dark, but then I got a good bit of them pretty well perfection. So that was great. And my household ate these chicken tenders over several days, and we fill the chicken tenders in several containers. And people just heat these up and eat them with different dipping sauces. Choose your own adventure. And then I was able to share some chicken tenders with a smaller family of 3, and that was helpful for them as well. And my family sure loved the chicken tenders too. And since we have such a nice supply of tallow, I am using my tallow liberally here to fry my chicken tenders in. And it's the same process. Again, I just get a good audiobook going, or some music, or a podcast, and I keep going full steam ahead with my assembly line. If you haven't seen it yet, I know many of you requested a video with my favorite dresses. You really liked a lot of my different dresses that I wear throughout different seasons. And over on my second channel, which is just my first name, Jamerrill, I have a new video up where I go through many of my favorite dresses. I've mostly gotten them through Amazon. I try several of them on, and also let you know how I layer them seasonally. Also, yes, we are taste testing these chicken tenders.
Of course, I want to try 2 out with my favorite Paleo Valley buffalo sauce, so I'm gonna check that box right now while I flip the others.
So if you have not seen my dress video, again, it's over on my second channel. My goal is I would love to get to the point where I have 1 video a week coming up over there. I definitely have been working hard through August and September. I got a bunch of videos out. I want to say between 26 and 30 here on my main channel, which is amazing. And now that we're rolling into October, I definitely have some things that are going to take my time and energy and focus these first few weeks of October, unfortunately. So we're going to have to slow down our pace over here a bit, but don't worry, it won't be for too long. I just gotta, mama juggling all the things as we do. So we have this video coming out, and next week we should have 2 to 3 videos coming out. But I will link my dress video for you down in the description below if you have not seen that yet. Many of my viewers over there requested a fall wardrobe video, so I will probably in later October or November share some of my favorite fall dresses with you. A lot of my spring and summer dresses I still wear through the fall and winter. I just layer them in different ways. Black leggings go a long way, and add a sweater, and hey, we're versatile, right? So now I am flipping these chicken tenderloins again, and I need to get out another baking dish to put them in. This one is a heaping baking dish already. But I would have my big protein eaters with these chicken tenders go through and, get 4 or 5 at a time. Add some other side items with it. Hey, look, we meal prepped. I know I had several breakfasts in the coming days where I used these chicken tenders as my main protein. And then as I do, added in my mini cucumbers or celery or mashed avocado cups. And, that's a complete meal for me. These chicken tenders are great cold, they're great warmed up, any way you want to do them. And with these, I just counted these all as meal prep for the coming days. You know, many things we get in the freezer, and then many things are meal prepped for a day or two or up to 5 to 7 days in the future as well. So we don't get any of these chicken tenders into the freezer for our future selves, but we did have chicken tenders over several days, and that was mighty nice. So again, the recipe will be linked down in the description below. And here I'm getting another smaller meal prep container filled. This is one that I am going to share with another family. So out of this big meal prep time, we do get butternut squash with added bonus protein into the freezer. We meal prepped 24 jar salads that we used over the next 7 days. We did 15 pounds of healthy chicken tenders with a Trim Healthy Mama style breading that goes into all kinds of carb friendly eating options. We did a big breakfast egg scramble, and I'm so glad after several weeks that we got the jar salads done. Also the chicken tenderloins, the butternut squash soup, dozens and dozens of eggs used in an egg scramble, and the healthy variation breakfast burritos yet again. Thank you for doing all this massive meal prep large family cooking with me over several afternoons. I appreciate you being here. All of the recipes that I used and different variations will be linked down in the description below, and I'll see you real soon with another brand new video. Bye bye.